Hi, Miss Carlton's class. I'm so glad to see your faces for our small group chat this week. I have missed all of you dearly. I hope you are hanging in there at home with your families. I know that I am too. So hopefully you've had a chance to watch our video where we were previewing our text for the science of sibling relationships. So we're going to continue now in small groups, and we're going to dig into that text a little deeper. So you should have the text that was in your workbook and something to write with. If you have a highlighter or a colored pencil that you like to use, go right ahead. So we are working with the text, looking at the graphics, the vocabulary, the structure. We are talking about how all of those details work together to synthesize information. And then we're going to look and see if any of the details in this particular passage don't line up with where they think they would. So for independent work, we gave you guys the chance to go through the text and kind of look at the pictures and the vocab and take a guess of what it would be about. And you did that in our online forum. And then I asked you to kind of give the text a first read, so we had an idea of what it's about. So let's just start right here with the title, The Science of Sibling Relationships. And so with our title and our picture, if somebody could unmute themselves and tell me, what did you think that this passage was going to be about? Giselle?
Like basically how the sibling relationships work.
Yeah, okay, how they work, fantastic. Would anyone like to add on to what Giselle said? Do these siblings look like they like each other in this picture? Are there other times that siblings don't like each other quite as much? They get angry at each other? Yeah, I know. I have a little sister too, so I understand. This is not what all the pictures look alike. And I'm guessing that as we spend more time together at home, this is not what we look like all the time, right? So let's look at the word the science of. So what can you predict based on that title? What do you think you're going to be getting into with this article? Let's focus on just that one word. Somebody tell me when you see the science of something. All right, I see Giselle. Anybody else want to jot in? Giselle, you want to go ahead?
Science.
What happens in science? What do we do in science class? Sienna?
We learn about different things, and we can build on we can build on them, and it's kind of like the build up.
Oh, very good. Okay, what else? Think about what happens in science class. What's the best part of science class? Is it reading from the textbook? Is that the best part? Is it defining vocabulary words? Is that the best part? What's the best part of science class? Liam, what you think?
Probably the experiment.
There we go. The experiments, the research, where we get to put things into different containers and measure and roll things down the hallway and see how long it takes. So that's the best part. Science normally means experiments, right? Like we're going to collect some data. So as you had the opportunity to read this article the first time, we had kind of read the first part together where we had like a memory that our author was writing about, where he said he remembers a time that his brother Bruce lied and that he caught him in a lie. Have any of you guys ever caught your sibling in a lie? And you knew it, and they knew you knew it, and we all knew that I knew that you, and you had to decide, were you gonna cover or were you gonna like rat them out for it, right? Yeah, this never happens because we never lie, it never happens. But he talks about that wordless conversation, and I love this piece of the text. So if you'll join me in just looking at that piece of the text again, and notice how it is written. It's written kind of differently, right? I cheated, he said, without actually speaking. I missed my shot, and I was hoping you wouldn't notice. I know. I'm a little embarrassed. I'm a little embarrassed for you. Are you mad? Nah, it's not a big deal. Let's keep playing. So I want you to take a look at that text that I just read, that little blue section, and just looking at the story as a whole, what do you notice about physically how that section is written? What do you notice? Let's see. I haven't heard from Jackson. You want to jump in and tell me, what do you notice about that one little section here that I just read? What do you notice physically about how it looks on the page?
It looks like it's written like a script for someone to play out.
Fantastic answer. It does look like a script. And in a script, there's two people talking, right? So it's him and his brother and him and his brother. But remember what he said, this was a wordless conversation. So how do you think, if they weren't using their mouths and actually saying words, how do you think they were having that conversation? What do you think they were using? Yeah, right there, right? Using their eyes. And you've had that conversation with your siblings before. I know I one time accidentally kicked a hole in my mom's couch, and my sister and I looked at each other and we moved the coffee table to cover it, and we didn't talk about it for 10 years. 10 years later, my mom found the hole in the couch and asked who did it. My sister still didn't rat me out. To this day, if you guys ever meet my mom, you cannot tell her, because my sister and I, we had the wordless truth that happened right there. So Jackson, I really love your answer. You're like, it's like a script. You can see it playing out. So if you were to describe what was happening, maybe Samantha or Linnea, if you guys want to chime in for me, what do you physically see is happening with that little section of the text? What do you notice? Samantha?
What was the question?
Well, if you're looking at that section of the text, the part like Jackson said, it looks like it's a script. What looks different? How does this look different, that section, than the rest of the reading? What do you notice?
It's not so much straight lines. It's it's tilted.
Yeah. So this is called italics, all right? And so when you see something in italics, it's like the font went like this and it went to the side, right? And authors don't do that accidentally. They do that for a reason. They write something in italics for a reason. And Jackson said it's because it's like a script. But the rest of this article, it's not a play. We're not reading a play. So it's this one little tiny kind of set aside moment. Is there something else that the author does there to make that kind of script part stand out and look separate? Someone want to unmute and tell me, what do you notice? What do you see? Jackson?
Well, it looks like they start a new line every time someone new talks.
Yes, and it's spaced out differently, isn't it? Do you see the blue background, you guys? Do y'all see that big squiggly background? Nowhere else in the text do you see that. So right here, our author is saying, hey, this is different. This isn't like a regular piece of text. I'm going to take a quick break, a little sidebar. I'm going to put it in italics. I'm going to make it blue. I'm going to space it separate. Samantha, what are you thinking?
They use the italics instead of the like apostrophe. What? Apostrophe.
You're right. So as we look at this particular text, our author starts with a story about a time that he and his brother lied and covered for each other. So I want you to think about sibling relationships. And I want you to think about the times that they're good and the times that they're bad. And as you're looking at the first section of this text, and we've kind of gone through the first piece, I want you to think about and put a box around any place where it gives you a reason why siblings fight. So I'm going to give you just a quick sec. Take your pencil and put a box around it, and then we'll come together and share. Put a box around a reason why siblings fight. All right, when you have found one detail that explains why siblings fight, I want you to put one hand on your head so I know you're ready to move on. So I can see that you're ready. When you have found one detail, put one hand on your head. I know you're ready. All right. Zane's ready. Linnea's ready. Jackson is ready. Giselle is ready. Samantha's ready. Sienna's ready. Liam, did you find it? Got it? You can put your hand up there so I know you're ready. There we go. All right, everyone's got their hands on their heads. Okay, so let me hear from Linnea. I haven't heard from you in a minute. Can you tell us what was the place that you put a box around? Why did siblings fight?
Wait.
What is one reason the author gives us that siblings fight?
Wait, is it like in the story or do I just say a reason?
Well, it's from the story. Let's see if we can use the text to support it. Because I think we know lots of reasons, but remember, this is the science of sibling relationships. So do we have any data and experiments that show us? Do you want a second to look some more?
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody else, where did you put a box around where our author told us? Samantha, what did you find?
Like, most of their fights involves property, playing with, touching, or even looking at someone else's stuff.
Oh, my friends. Can I get an amen on that one? When your siblings take your stuff, it could be your clothes, it could be your favorite toy, it could be your cell phone, it could be whatever it is, man, that sets up all the fights. And my sister and I, we were 2 years apart. We fought over stuff. Like, that was like 99% of our fighting. Giselle, what do you think?
Well, to be honest, I think it's guilt more of.
You think
Like,
it's guilt?
if my brother takes my stuff, I'm just like, can you please give it back? And he'll give it back. Like,
You're
but
a nicer
of-
sister than I was.
if he was like dishonest or guilty about something and he didn't tell me, I would be like, tell me. Or if he told my mom that something I didn't do, I'll be like, I didn't do that. Like,
So
and I
Giselle,
feel like that's what makes it
you
right.
make a really good point. One of the great things about having siblings is that you kind of have to call each other out, but you have to have each other's backs at the same time, right? And that's different than other relationships that we may have in our lives. I know that my sister and I, we fight a lot, but at the same time, I love her because she's my only sister. And I've known her since, the first day in her entire life. So I like to point out that I'm older, but she's taller. So, all right. So one detail was that fights happened over property. Did anybody else find a detail of why siblings fight? Linnea, did you find one?
Yeah. At first I thought you said one reason why they get along, so that's why I did.
Oh, that's our second one. So don't go too far away from that detail because we're going to come back to it.
Okay, so I saw at one point when Bruce was about to begin his turn, I turned away. When I turned back, I caught his eye and immediately saw guilt there.
So it's kind of like what Giselle was saying was like, it's that guiltiness that you lied, I caught you, and I know you did. And it's sometimes different because with people that you don't know, you wouldn't know those things. So when they're your siblings, you can tell. I could always tell when my sister was hiding food, when she was trying to hide broccoli or whatever, you could tell because she wasn't very good at it. But I could tell because I was her sister. Okay, so I want to go back to something Linnea said a minute ago. She goes, well, I picked that same piece that you did, that most of the fights were about property, about stuff, right? Like that's a lot of what we fight about. But as siblings, we don't always fight. Sometimes there's good things. So is there any piece in this that tells us why the fighting could be good for us? I'm going to give you just a second. And in this one, I want you to put a circle about where fighting might actually be a good thing. See if you can find a place for that. I'll give you just a minute to look. When you have found a place about why fighting can be good, will you rest your chin in your hands so I know you're ready? You are thoughtfully ready. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, almost everybody. All right, I think that's about it. Okay, so Zane, hey, do you want to tell us, did you find a place to put a circle where fighting might actually be a good thing?
No.
No
I
places?
couldn't really find, no.
Okay. Somebody who did. Linnea, you said that's what you found in the very beginning. What was the place that you found? You got to pull yourself off of mute, I think. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, I can.
I said our brothers and sisters help us practice getting along with others.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So Zane, you want to go ahead and circle that? And anybody else that didn't get that one, let's circle it now on your paper. And remember, if you were in front of Ms. Carlton, I'd be checking, but I'm going to hold you guys honest on this one. So circle that in your paper, because that is a great reason why fighting might be okay.
Where is
Sometimes, go ahead.
Where did she find that?
Oh, where did you find that, Linnea? Can you tell us what paragraph you found that in?
It was right here.
So in that second column, so right here, that sibling bond is like a dress rehearsal. I think that was the same thing I circled too. Great question, Giselle. Thanks for reminding us. Sometimes it takes a minute to find those things. So it does, it helps us learn to get along with others. So there is research that says, here's how often we fight. This is why siblings fight most often. And then research now about why fighting really isn't the worst thing. I bet our moms and dads might not agree, but why fighting may not be a bad thing because it can teach us how to get along with others. So here's the piece I want you guys to think about between now and our next small group meeting, okay? So between now and our next small group meeting, I want you to figure out, what was the author trying to say about sibling relationships? Were they good? Were they bad? Were they positive experiences or negative experiences? You're going to be looking for the main idea in the text. So all of those details are going to go back and support, okay? So you have a graphic organizer in your student books on page 186 that can help you with that, or you can just do that work on the text, whichever one makes you happy, okay? So your assignment is to find the main idea of the text. We've pulled out some important details so far, but now looking at the rest of the important details, other reasons why they fight, other reasons why fighting is okay. What is the main idea? And so when we meet again next time, that's going to be the piece that we talk about. Okay, so real quick, going around the room, your job next time is to find the what? Samantha, can you unmute and tell us? The main idea, said Samantha. That works. It's to find the main idea, okay? All right, guys, give me a thumbs up if you understand what your instructions are between now and our next small class. Good, good, good. Linnea, are you good over there? Good, good, good. Okay, got it. All right, you know, if you need anything at all, you can reach out to me through our virtual classroom. And I want to thank you guys for everything that you did for us today. And we want to thank you for the work that you will be doing offline on your own. And we will see you again next time. Okay, bye, guys.
Bye.